Hi friends, this is Selvijay here. Welcome to my networking channel. Hope all are doing good. And today the topic I am going to discuss about what is the IPv6 stateful DHCP and how to configure IPv6 stateful DHCP in case of a Fortigate firewall. So there are two types of DHCP in case of IPv6. One is stateful and stateless. So stateless already we know the client will auto configure its own IPv6 with the prefix received from the server. But in case of IPv6 stateful, we require a DHCP server, just like a normal IPv4. So the only thing is in an IPv4 DHCP, that contains the DORA process, discover, offer, request and acknowledgement. In case of IPv6, we call it as a solicit. Okay, solicit, advertise, request and acknowledgement message. So these are the four messages in case of IPv6. So I'm going to create a pool of IPv6 address. So within that pool of IP will be assigned to the or leased to the client. Okay, so that is the only difference. So the first and foremost thing, I will assign a IPv6 address to the server. Then I'm going to create a pool. So within that pool, the IP will be leased to the client. That is an IPv6 address will be leased to the client from that pool of IPv6 what we have created in the server. Okay. So now let us go to the server and let us configure the IPv6 server address. Then we'll configure the DHCP v6 pool. Okay. So then we'll go to the client configuration. So first let us go to the server configuration. Username is admin followed by the password. Now I'm going to configure the port. Okay, so the config system interface, the port is port 1. Okay, now I'm going to configure the DHCP v6 server. So first let us configure the IPv6 address. For that the syntax is config IPv6. Okay, config IPv6. Then let us set the IPv6 address. So IPv6 address 2001:1111:1/64. So this is just a DHCP v6 server address. Okay. Now I'm going to allow the ping access. Set IP6 allow access is ping. Now one more command is we have to set the advertisement. IP6 send advertisement enable. Okay, that this is a way the router will send the advertisement to the client. Okay, for that I'm enabling this. So now what is the thing is, now let us save the configuration. So first we are done with the first part of configuration. What I have done is just I assign a IPv6 address. For the server, I assigned the IPv6 address to this corresponding port. Now I'm going to configure the DHCP v6 pool. So what is the syntax is, go to config system DHCP v6 server. Okay. Now I'm going to add a entry. Okay, just edit one. Now I have to set a subnet. So that subnet I'm going to add this particular prefix. That is this is a particular subnet it is going to assign. Okay, 2001:1111:/64. This is a subnet I'm giving. Now what I'm going to do is, now we have to set an interface. Which interface I'm going to assign this is, that is port 1. That is the interface, right? So port 1. Now I'm going to assign a pool of IPv6 address within this particular subnet. So how to do that is config IP range, add a entry. So normal, just like a normal DHCP pool, we will create a start and the end IP. Similar way for IPv6 also we have to create the start and the end IP. Okay. So set start IP is the same IP 2001:1. So let us give the start IP as 10, because already we have assigned the IP one address to the IPv6 address, right? This address. So I'm giving the start IP for this particular pool is 10. Then the end IP let us give it as 100. So within that pool it will assign the IPv6 address to the client. Okay. So okay, we are done with the configuration. So now what I'm going to do is just save the configuration. So now we have saved the configuration. How to view this configuration? Show system interface. Okay, port 1. Okay, this is the way we can view the configuration. So now for identification, just we'll ping the IPv6 server address, DHCP server address. Let us check whether I'm able to ping the address. So I'm able to ping the server address. Okay, so the server part is done. So we have configured this and show system DHCP v6 server. So this will show all the details what you have done. So I assigned a prefix, then I have created a pool of IPv6 address within the particular subnet. Okay. So now I'm going to client configuration, and now let us configure the IPv6 DHCP mode. So I have to change the mode to the DHCP mode so that the client will automatically get the IPv6 address from the pool what you have created in the server. Okay, so let us go to the client and just log in. And now let us configure. Go to config system interface and the port is port 1 and go to config IPv6. I'm going to configure an IPv6. So I'm going to change the mode to IPv6 DHCP mode. Okay, for the client we have to configure as IPv6 DHCP mode so that the client will get the IPv6 address from the server pool, or we can also say the server will lease the IPv6 address to the client within the particular pool. Okay, so that's the way it will do. So now the command is set IP6 mode is DHCP mode. Okay, this is the client end configuration. Also I'm going to do set IP6 allow access. Okay, set IP6 allow access ping. So these are the configuration we have did from the server and the client end. Show system interface port 1. This is the way you can configure. And also the one more command we can check is whether the client is getting the IPv6 address from the server is. So diagnose IPv6 address list. The same command you can use for a Slack also. Okay, diagnose IPv6 address list. So now let us check it is getting the IPv6 address from the server. Okay, so it may take some time. Now let us check. Okay, so it already got the IPv6 address. You are able to see, right? So it got the first pool of IPv6 addresses 2001:10 we have created. So now let us check the address by pinging. Just execute ping 6. Now let us ping this IPv6 address what it get from the server. So I'm able to ping the address. Also let us ping the same address from the server end also, whether I'm able to ping from the server also. Okay, so just copy it. I'm able to ping, and also let us ping the server address from the client. What is the client address is? So let us see. Show system interface port 1. This is the server address we are saying, right? 2001:1. So just copy it and ping from the server and the client and also execute ping 6. This is mainly for the communication we are testing. So I'm able to ping, and also the server address let us ping from the client also. So execute ping 6. So it is ping 6, right? So I'm able to ping both the server and the client and both from the server end and the client end also. So this is how the server will assign the IPv6 address to the client with the via stateful DHCP. So that is the only difference between stateful and stateless. So stateless will the client will auto configure its own IPv6 address. So the client will send an router solicitation message and the server will send a route advertisement message in case of stateless. But in case of stateful, they contain 4 messages, that is solicit, advertise, request and acknowledgement. So these are the 4 messages in IPv6 stateful. So what are the configuration we did is, first we have assigned a IPv6 address to the server, then we have created a subnet address, then we have created the pool of IPv6 address within the particular subnet range. Okay, and from the client end, what is the configuration we did is, we have changed the mode to IPv6 mode to DHCP. So that is the only thing we did. So this is how the server will lease the IPv6 address to the client from the particular pool what you assign. So I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos. Thanks and have a wonderful day. Thank you.